Hello, I'm Stephanie Statz, CEO of YWCA Delaware. It's my honor to welcome you to this year's finals of MLK Voice for Youth contest. YWCA Delaware's mission is to eliminate racism, empower women, stand up for social justice, and strengthen communities. We support efforts to confront the underlying prejudices and practices that deny so many the opportunities to pursue and achieve their full potential. We embrace the principles of inclusion, compassion, and human dignity. And it is for those reasons and so many others that YWCA is delighted to partner again with Christ Church Christiana 100 and share with you today the creative and insightful voices of some amazing Delaware youth whose messages resonate in the spirit of Dr. King's legacy of service, education, and peace.
Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. This quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is a founding wisdom and guidance for us for the MLK Voices for Youth competition. I'm Ruth Beresford, Director of Christ Church Christiana 100, and we're involved because one of our members, Jane Rubini, was the founder of this with an idea that the voices of young people need to be heard today, and the message of Dr. Martin Luther King cannot fail. So we're proud to host this competition with our partners at the YWCA and with those who are the community partners who have presented the prizes, the Quentin Primo Fund for Racial Justice, Wisfus Bank, and the Rotary Club of Wilmington. So grateful for their support and their participation in today's competition and their awarding of the prizes. I'd like to introduce to you Kamala Diabate, the 2016 winner of the MLK Voices for Youth competition, and DeJour Jones, who's been a contestant. DeJour is a junior at Cap Calloway School of the Arts, and together they'll be our co-hosts today for the presentation.
Welcome to the 6th annual MLK Voice for Youth contest. This is our 6th year of providing high school students with an opportunity to voice their opinions on issues important to them.
This year is virtual, so our contestants will be performing via Zoom, which will then be performed on multiple platforms, including the MLK Voice for Youth Facebook page and the YWCA Delaware's YouTube channel. Thank you all for coming out and supporting our contestants.
To begin, Senator Tom Carper, followed by Delaware's First Lady Tracy Quilley Carney, will present a few words.
We're going to run back to that. Continue on.
I want to say thank you to the sponsors who make the MLK Voice for Youth contest possible. To help prepare our contestants, we had a workshop led by Dr. Donna Blakey from Delaware State University and Lester Fair, our 2017 second prize winner. This workshop was sponsored by the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and the Gamma Theta Lambda Education Foundation. DeJour, did you know that Dr. Blakely had a 1-hour coaching session with each individual contestant?
I did actually not know that. That must be why they're so great.
Yeah, so I want to say thank you to Dr. Blakely for that. We definitely appreciate it.
At this time, please check that microphones are muted. All noise-making devices are off and silent. All noise-making devices are off and silent. Please do not take any type of video out of respect for the contestants. And now we will be introducing our judges. Thank you for your cooperation.
Our first judge, Reverend Dr. Marta Iluweka from Brandywine Collaborative Ministries.
Melissa Kinney, Executive Vice President, Kinney Family ShopRite of Delaware.
Reverend Dr. Lawrence Livingston, Assistant Professor from Africana Studies at University of Delaware.
Senate Elizabeth Tizzy Lockman, 3rd Senate, District, Delaware.
Maurice Pritchett, Chief Executive Officer of Pritchett Associates.
Nana Ohima Asante, University of Delaware in 2017, MLK Voice for Youth, second prize winner.
Dr. Eugene Young, Chief Executive Officer at Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League.
And our alternate judge, Dr. Wilma Mishu, immediate past president, Delaware State University.
These contestants have poured their heart, soul, and passion into these pieces, so we please ask that you give your full attention to them while they're presenting. There'll be a brief pause in between each contestant to allow the judges to mark their ballots, as well as to transition into the next contestant. Today's 7 finalists were selected last week at our semifinals. They will speak in the following order: Dina, Jamel, Adith, Neha, Desiree, Sanchez, and Rashima. Andrew, just let me know when we're ready to begin.
Let's roll.
Okay, so we're ready to begin. Our first contestant.
One second.
Yeah.
Becca, can you please take control and bring here we go. Okay, wonderful.
Hello, my name is Dina.
All right, well,
And
while
the title-
Andrew gets everyone together, I just want to say that this past year has been a difficult year, and I really appreciate Jane for still coming together and pulling this together for everybody. I want you to know that even in times in adversity, when the world is shut down, your voice still matters.
Yes, our voice does still matter. And I also want to thank Jane for allowing us to be able to speak and voice our opinions of what we think and what's going on in this world, like no other. So thank you, Ms. Jane.
I want to say I'm truly excited for the pieces this year. This past year has been full of anger, fire, incitement, political turmoil, so I already know that these pieces are going to blow us out.
Oh yeah, I know these pieces are going to blow us up, especially with Mr. Blakey doing all the training. So.
Okay.
All right, our first contestant.
Hello, my name is Dina, and the title of my piece is Have You Seen the Other Side? Martin Luther King, I've got a question. Have you seen the other side? We live in two Americas, the one they want the world to see and reality. It's supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, but it's the home of the white, and everyone else, well, they're enslaved. MLK, you said you've been to the mountaintop. You said you've seen what's ahead. So when does it end? When does the struggle descend? How many times do we have to walk around this city before it falls? Have you seen the other side? Because right now, all I see is police brutality and murders of Black people. It did not end with you. There were those before you, like Emmett Till and Malcolm X, and there are those that are after you, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. The list goes on. It makes me wonder if I will be next. It makes me wonder, will I be murdered for walking in the streets? Will I be killed while sleeping in my own bed? Will I die gasping for air, saying I can't breathe? No, I do not have a weapon. Please do not shoot. It makes me wonder if that phone call is someone calling to say, my father will not be coming home, my brother is in jail, or even worse, they're dead. Every day, I worry about not making it home. Before I leave my house, I pray, Lord, bless me to reach my destination and to make it back home safe. Have you seen the other side? The side where healthcare is the same for all? Many people are falling all around me. No one is being treated the same, and no one is receiving the same treatments. But how could we be treated fairly if it was never meant for us anyway? No wonder medical textbooks don't give the answers, because we are not the priority. How can doctors give us the answer if they were never taught how to treat us? They say skin color means nothing, but it means everything. They wonder why we have no trust in the COVID vaccine. Maybe it's because every experience we've had, we have been treated wrong and violated. Just because a Black nurse worked on it doesn't mean it's safe. We've been there and done that. We don't need another Lonely Gordon. For all we know, it could be another method of population control. Or maybe, or maybe they're finally starting to feel bad for cutting out my mother's ovary without saying a word. But it wasn't just her. Those women at the border, it was them too. But it wasn't just them. You see a Black woman walking on the street, it was her too. Have you seen the other side? MLK, you said silence is betrayal, but here, noise can bring death. When we peacefully protest for human rights, we are thugs and we deserve to be punished. We get pushed, beaten, tear gassed, and arrested for walking the streets we built. MLK, I know you've been there, you've done that, you've seen that, felt that, and experienced that, but let me tell you, only the face of America changed. We still live in the Jim Crow, segregation, live low slave nation. It works for the white, but it hurts the Black. Have you seen the other side? Just like you, Dr. King, we're still waiting for our nightmare to turn into a dream. Your nightmare to turn into your dream. We're still waiting for police brutality and murders to end. We're still waiting to be free at last. We're still waiting for health care to be safe for us. We're still waiting to speak and not be silenced. And so I ask MLK, have you seen the other side of America? Its second face. We want reality to be what the world sees. When does it become the land of the free, the home of the brave, a place of liberty and justice for all? For when there is justice, there will be peace. Dr. Martin Luther King, when you looked over the mountaintop and when you saw what was ahead, what did you see? Was the face of America finally the same?
Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer, good afternoon.
Hello, my name is Jamel, and I will present my speech titled The Fight for Justice. Good afternoon. My name is Jamel Powell, and I am a proud striver of the Teen Sharp program. I will be presenting my speech titled The Fight for Justice. I will share a quote by best-selling author Brian Stevenson before I begin. I am persuaded that the opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice. I've come to believe that the true measure of our commitment to justice, fairness, and equality cannot be measured by how we treat the rich, the respected, and the privileged among us. The true measure of our character is how we treat the poor, the disfavored, the accused, the incarcerated, and the condemned. We all need some measure of unmerited grace. Now I shall present my speech, The Fight for Justice. During these times, it's important to honor the people who have come before. It's easy to forget that without them, the world we live in wouldn't be the same. One of these great heroes is Martin Luther King Jr. He was a great public speaker and civil rights activist. He stood up for what he believed in, and by doing so, gave African Americans a better chance in America. Although Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished this, there are still a lot of challenges we endure, such as police brutality. For some, the police are a force that exists to protect and serve the community. But for others, they are a force that intimidates and destroys lives. We know some of the names, such as George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but there are many African Americans whose names have never been heard of, such as Jonathan Price, tasered and shot, Carlos Carson, pepper sprayed and shot in the head, and Javier Ambler, tasered and electrocuted. These Black individuals were all unarmed and have been killed by police. Even when racist white Americans attack Black Americans, the police do nothing. The police allowed an 18-year-old white boy to shoot 2 Black protesters before finally arresting him at his grandmother's house. It's not just the police. It's the construction of law and policy in general. It was the Stand Your Ground law in Florida that supported the killing of Trayvon Martin. It's because of the law that we see more and more Black males being sent to prison for life. It's because of the law that 75% of African American families have single mothers. We live in a country that calls itself the land of the free, but we have about 23 million people incarcerated, 34% of that number Black. This way of life is degrading the Black community. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in his 1963 letter from a Birmingham jail that freedom is never voluntarily granted by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. You must demand your freedom because your freedom will not be given to you freely. That is what we must keep doing, just like Martin Luther King Jr. did 50 years ago. If we want to be respected as citizens of America and human beings, then we must demand it because we need justice and equality. One last thing before I go. With the siege of the Capitol building with lives lost, I propose a question. Do you see who the real terrorists are?
Hi, my name is Adit Tyagarajan, and I'm going to be presenting my piece called Love, a Star in the Midst of Darkness. 2020, the world was hit by a generational pandemic. Schools are closed with no idea of return. Cities are empty with citizens forced to stay inside. Stores are closed with the idea of interaction completely disallowed. Masks are paraded as a site of hand sanitizer, and the idea of every man for himself becomes predominant. The atmosphere is dim and gray as the world mourns. Lives and jobs have been lost, with the economy and unemployment rate being hit devastatingly. For 4 years, I taught at the Urban Promise School, Wilmington, and on March 12, 2020, I got a call from Principal Joel Orr that they would not have enough computers to sustain an online school program. I remember conducting a parent town hall, and Mr. Joel actually kicked off the meeting with an MLK quote from his college newspaper, the Maroon Tiger, in 1947. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education. One of the most impactful stories I heard was from a single mother. She was working as a nurse during COVID-19, grinding out extra hours to support her family while trying to go back to college to find a new career pathway. She had 6 kids and only 1 computer. And that's when I knew that those kids, they deserved their fair shot at an education. They deserved their computers. Dr. King used to visit Oberlin all the time during the Civil Rights Movement. And in one of his visits to Finney Church, he told the crowd, "The time is always right to do what is right." Well, I believed that the time was now. And I decided to start an Urban Promise Computers drive for the kids and give them a star in the midst of darkness. But during this time, the world saw a kneel loom over the neck of innocence. We all saw an inhumane horror unfold. George Floyd was cruelly murdered. In an apartment, Breonna Taylor was found dead, with the bullets of racial injustice piercing her. During this time, COVID had spiked, and I was hit with the dilemma. Do I go out and protest, or do I stay home in lockdown? And that's when I remembered the words of Dr. King when he spoke in front of the audience of the Riverside Baptist Church in New York. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Boiling with centuries of mistreatment for a group of people who did nothing wrong, I marched in as the cries for, "Say his name, George Floyd, say her name, Breonna Taylor," filled the atmosphere. And as I was marching, I could feel that this was such a powerful moment, a moment that has transpired throughout the history of America, when 55 years ago, a young man by the name of John Lewis marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and was battered for the right to vote. And now, we saw an 80-year-old John Lewis on his last legs walk out and put his fist in the air, and he stood for equality, justice, and the antecedent to our current leadership. I remember thinking, how can a nation like America afford to lose hundreds of thousands of times? And as I was pondering this question, my life hit rock bottom. I lost my beloved grandfather to COVID-19. To watch through a screen miles away as a man who smiled and laughed with his family was forced to be buried alone, like a nobody. And that's when I knew the true value of leadership. And in 2020, we saw two messages. One of our presidents of hate, divisiveness, and fear-mongering, and the other, a vice president from the state of Delaware, talking about a new purpose after seeing the tiki torches blaze through the skies of Charlottesville, talking about empathy and the idea of common decency. And that's when I decided to go phone bank and canvas for worked out through a collaborative effort of everyone in this nation. We were able to get 150 million votes, record voter turnout, something John Lewis relentlessly. Hate is just as injurious to the hater as it is to the hated. That's why psychiatrists say, love or perish. Hate is just too much a burden to bear. Love finds a way. Love is the reason why I was able to raise 70 computers for Urban Promise. Love is the reason why protests turned into legislation passed across the nation. Love is the reason why Americans were able to unite as a people to fight one virus. It's at a tough year, and we all lost a soul dear to our heart. But as we head into a new age, we hold a glorious opportunity to inject a new dimension of love into the veins of civilization.
Welcome back to everybody. We're going to take a brief pause to allow the judges to catch up on their scoring. I want to take this time to kind of reminisce on this contest. This is our 6th year. For those of us, or those of you who have been with us for a while, you know that I was the first place winner of the first contest. And looking back now, that was when I was 15, and I'll be 21 this year.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been a long time. It's crazy looking back on it. And I do want to say to everybody that participates, even if you don't win the money today, this contest will open up so many opportunities for you, so many opportunities. There are places, even now to this day, there are people that I can call just off of the strength of this contest.
That is very true.
Even last semester, my teacher reached out to me and he was like, I saw your presentation and it was amazing. And I'm like, wow, I was 15. It's just like, when you get older, and it's weird because I'm saying that, I'm not even old, but when you get older, it just kind of looks different in hindsight.
I remember I did the competition last year, and though I did not win, when I walked out of that room, people were just attracted to me.
Definitely.
They're just attracted to me, coming up to me, hey, wow, I really loved your piece. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Would you come do this with me? And I actually got the chance to become a part of a debate team when I left.
I was gonna say, tell me more about some of the experiences that you've gotten since the contest.
Well, usually I'll post like things on my Instagram about my poetry that I do.
Okay.
I actually got the chance to do quite a bit of music, actually, make a couple songs.
Really?
So that was a beautiful experience because before that I had never really recorded in a recording studio, or at least not like an actual studio, like a big studio. I was so used to like the small little mic and, you know, just being the little foam thing. But I went into this one. This one was an entirely different experience for me. I mean, there were other people bigger than me there.
Right.
So I had a chance to connect and interact with them and, you know, do things like that.
All right. So our next contestant is going to begin.
Hi, my name is Neha Das, and the title of my piece is Pretty for a Brown Girl. She said I was pretty for a brown girl. Because I couldn't just be pretty. No, something was holding me back from that prestigious title, and it was brown skin. But they don't know the burden of trying to meet society's standard of beauty. They didn't know that in the morning I burned my hair until it fell out so it could be straight. They didn't know that I pinched my nose for hours so it could be smaller. They didn't know that I scrubbed my skin with chemicals until I peeled so I could be lighter. They didn't know that I ripped the hair from the roots of my arm and face so I could be less exotic. Light skin, straight hair, small nose, to erase my ethnicity. But when I was 5, I used to call myself milk chocolate. I used to hold a piece up to my skin and say, look, just like candy. But that optimism didn't last because in India, when babies are born too dark, they douse their skin in lemon juice until they peel. But why? Well, she put it quite well when she said, she's too dark, she's too skinny, she looks poor. What will people think, that my granddaughter works in the fields, that she can't afford to eat? Because this isn't just about beauty. It's about racism, classism, and a system that perpetuates a hierarchy based on the color of our skin. When the only women you see on television have light skin, when the only toys you have are beautiful blonde Barbies, when you hear the boys at school make fun of dark skin, when you want them to hear your passion and confidence, but they just hear loud and aggressive, when you want them to see beauty, but they see flaws, when you want them to see humanity, but they can't see past these walls, you reduce yourself to an object unworthy of love and affection. These are Eurocentric beauty standards, a global disease. Being told that lighter equals better, and that white equals intelligence, beauty, wealth, and success. An entire generation has been led to believe these standards. In 1939, doctors Mamie and Kenneth Clark conducted the doll experiment. They gathered children of all backgrounds and ethnicities and gave them 2 dolls, a black doll and a white doll. The children were asked a series of questions, like, which doll is beautiful? And all the children chose the white doll, even the little black boys and girls, because they didn't see themselves as the image of beauty. And even years after Martin Luther King had a dream, we came full circle to being judged by the color of our skin. Because when you reduce dark skin to be an undesirable trait, and beauty becomes purely outwards, we dehumanize and we label. White skin, and you can do it all. Housing loans, education, you can shop without being followed, you can escape judgment. Heck, you could even break into the Capitol building of the United States of America, terrorize government officials, and get called a patriot. Black skin, and you can't reach for your own wallet, you can't go on a jog, you can't be safe in your own home. Dr. Martin Luther King once spoke about these 2 very different Americas in his 1968 speech entitled, "The Other America." He said that one America is beautiful, but there is another America. In this America, men look for jobs that do not exist. Men and women are forced to live in distressed housing conditions, and thousands of young people are denied access to education because of the color of their skin. These two Americas exist because we see this. We label, we judge, and we divide. But Martin Luther King also said that we must learn to live together as brothers or we will perish together as fools. But when I turn on the news, I don't see that. I see hate, division, and bigotry. But I have a dream where little boys and girls can look down at their dark skin and feel proud. A dream where society sees dark skin as humanity, love, and compassion. A dream where men and women know that their place in this society is not determined by their color of the skin. A dream where men and women know that it is not only okay to be dark, but it is beautiful. And nobody is pretty for a dark skin. We are beautiful, not in spite of our skin, but because of it.
We just wanted to thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. There is a 60-second pause in between each contestant, so just bear with us. Thank you and enjoy.
So we're just going to allow the judges to mark their ballots and keep up. I know everybody's very excited about the next contestant, and it's been a good showing so far. So let's stay on the edge of our seats for the next contestant.
Very great show.
Hello, my name is Desiree Deacom, and the title of my piece is Helpless Categories. Did you know that the feeling of helplessness can be learned? We are not born helpless. It is not a gene in our chromosomes. When a young elephant is captured in India, the trainers will use a rope to tie the elephant's leg to a post. And for days, the elephant will struggle trying to break free. Eventually, it will admit defeat and feel helpless. When the elephant grows up, the trainers will use the same rope to tie the elephant's leg to a post. Now the elephant is stronger. It can break free now, but it does not. It just stays tied to the post and lies in wait for the trainers, because from past experience, it already knows that trying to break free is futile. This learned helplessness is what plagues the Black community of today and yesterday. More specifically, Black women are my focus today. When I was between the ages 8 to 10, I remember hearing in a movie that there were 3 types of Black women. The strong one. This Black woman gets her assignments done on time. She exceeds in life. She is the model student, and her senior superlative is most likely to be successful. The weak one. This Black woman asks for extensions. She definitely takes her sick days. She may have ambitions, but she does not push as hard as the strong Black woman. And she does not have a senior superlative because she is not known for adjectives like excellence. The angry one. This Black woman is most likely woke. She blames the world's stereotypes for her struggles through life, as she should. She is an excellent debater, but people only hear noise when she is talking. And her senior superlative is most likely to be a lawyer, judge, or activist. When I first heard this statement, I laughed. This must be a joke, I thought. However, now that I have lived a little, I have come to realize that this could not be more true. That sickens me. Black women throughout history have been stereotyped harshly, and now we are in categories. We have learned to become helpless in our situation, in our categories. We have learned to ignore the fact that we are in categories so we do not have to fight it. Take me, for example. I am the strong Black woman. I work hard, I do not make excuses, and I keep my grade report and my record sparkling. This may all sound and look extravagant on paper, but the strong Black woman in me suffers to achieve. I have coronavirus, and my symptoms include pounding headaches. Yet I do not ask for extensions on my homework. I don't tell my teachers I'm going through a tough time. I am the strong Black woman, right? So I fight through it and I get the work done. Can you see now how even I, a 21st century girl in her prime from the youth of America, feels helpless in her situation? King, you said, well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. I just want to know when these difficult days for a girl like me will cease to exist. You know, that movie failed to mention how easily the strong Black woman and the weak Black woman can turn into the angry one. Because months or years from now, I will sit and wonder why I made it so hard on myself. And that suppressed pain will turn into anger. My young elephant will turn into a lion, and they will have another angry Black woman to talk about. And that anger will turn into hate for a society that made me this way. King, I want to hate them so bad, and so should you. Yet you say, as I look into your eyes and into the eyes of all my brothers across Alabama and all over America and over the world, I say to you, I love you. I would rather die than hate you. Even though you know that the love you give them will not change them or their views or these stereotypes. King, you said, let us be dissatisfied until the dark yesterdays of segregated schools transform into bright tomorrows of quality integrated education. However, I'm telling you, this is not enough. Let us be dissatisfied until Black women are not confined to categories. Let us be dissatisfied until Black girls like me do not feel like the world is on their shoulders, until Black girls like me do not feel the need to smile 24/7 so that students and classmates and teachers do not deem them unapproachable. Let us be dissatisfied until we are truly free to be who we are. Strong sometimes, and weak sometimes. And when the world pushes down on us, let this anger not be the judge of our character or a chance for us to be stereotyped, but let this anger be an example of how close to the edge we are. Let this anger be what it truly is, a cry for help. A cry for help from a dissatisfied people who have been silenced and helpless throughout time.
Hello, my name is Sanchez, and the title of my piece is Let Peace Begin. Please close your eyes at this time. Imagine you at a park. The grass is green, the dandelions are singing with the wind, the butterflies are dancing with the sunflowers. We're all assorted, just like the colors in the rainbow. At this very place, it doesn't matter if you're Black, white, gay, straight, rich, poor. At this very moment, there's peace upon us. At this very moment, we're living by the quote where Martin Luther King voices, "I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great of a burden to bear." There's no cruelty here, no injustice being performed, no crime at sight. Everyone is at peace and content, glowing like a shooting star without a destination. Now, please open your eyes. Isn't that what we all want? Isn't that what Martin Luther King would have wanted? Instead of that, what do we have in this world? We have young Black men being harmed by police brutality, young Black women questioning their worth because of society's definition of what beauty is, white privilege becoming more vigorous, and loads of colorism between the Black community itself. Most importantly, we have a generation that seems to move away from God and is getting worse day by day. In the present and at the past, society focused on the racism between Black and white men, but what about the colorism that we're allowing to divide our community? Yes, this world is currently categorized by tiers according to race, gender, culture, sexuality, and many more. But again, what about the colorism that's dividing us? One may ask, what is colorism? According to Webster, colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Colorism in the Black community has led us to think that skin tone makes one labeled as better than someone else. Because of these certain stereotypes, dark-skinned girls are perceived as ghetto or ratchet, as a lighter-skinned girl is perceived as sweet and amiable. 300 years ago, slavery begun, and we face the atrocity of racism. 58 years later, after King performed I Have a Dream, we now are dealing with colorism. 58 years later, it is now a battle between the light and the dark. Colorism is an issue amongst African Americans that is slowly manifesting its horrible ways throughout the culture. The idea now is if you're light-skinned, you have more success and are deemed less of a threat. However, being darker means less success and is labeled as a common threat. The ideas about color pigmentation in the Black community goes back to the slavery times, where white was considered good and Black was considered bad. Slavery is a primary reason why this idea is still surviving. To many Black males, a lighter-skinned female is more amiable because of the standards of beauty that has been augmented in today's society. The standard of a petite nose, light eyes, curly hair, and fair skin. The simple fact that whether one is light-skinned or dark-skinned, they are still Black has been forgotten. Because of the features in which a light-skinned individual possesses, it helps them get more ahead. Therefore, light-skinned people happen easier than dark-skinned people. Society has forgotten to apply. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character to our daily lives, because we're constantly judging and putting each other down because of pigmentation. This is solely why I am so proud of how my father raised me, for he always says, my daughter, it is not how you look that it's important, but it's how you treat people, how you think in certain situations, and how you treat others, even if their appearance doesn't please you. Now that all of this has been vocalized, how do we change the paradigm? To change this, we must start bringing peace, love, and equality. Let peace begin with the darkest of men to the lightest of men. Let peace and change begin from the Hall of Congress to the iceberg in Antarctica. Let the sound of equality burst our speakers and echo in the atmosphere. Let peace allow all people to become one. Let peace begin and the prejudice against ourselves can end. When we allow peace in our hearts, our souls, and our minds, we'll see the plants dance more in rhythm with the wind. The birds will fly higher, the flowers will bloom brighter, and the elderly eyes will crinkle with more joy. We're all God's children. Remove my skin or remove yours. It's skin and bones that's underneath. Change will not just come to us. We will struggle. We will face many obstacles, but at the end, we will prosper. The peace and change we create today will then last for generations and generations, from the littlest to the biggest, and from the smallest to the grandest places. The change starts with you. The change starts with her. The change, it starts with him. The change, it starts with us. The change, it starts with me.
Okay. Okay. Video, okay. Good afternoon. My name is Rushima, and the title of my speech is The United America. I come to you from the other America, and for me, 2020 was a great year. I got to stay home, didn't get to wake up at 5 to go to school. I watched TV, played games, and somewhere in between, also heard some noise about a Breonna Taylor and some George Floyd. And I got confused. What are we crying about again? Why are you so outraged and surprised? Isn't this normal? Something that happens every Second day, sad, yes. But why surprising? 117 blacks were lynched in 1900 and 235 black men and women were shot by the police in 2019. Not kneed, strangled or anything, but actually shot in cold blood. So in 100 years, we have progressed and just doubled that number. When it comes to black lives, and if they matter, we sure took the train in the wrong direction, Mama. I understand that the police are human too, but you can't tell me that the police training manual instructs the only way to stop a psychologically ill brother in Philadelphia has to be skip his hands, skip his legs, and shoot him instead? 10 times in the chest? Vice President Pence told CBS, all lives matter. I was offended. And then England's Home Minister Priti Patel said the same thing. And she is not white. That's when I got confused. Priti said she understood racism and had been subject to it all her life. I would agree, except the one singular flaw in her understanding. She assumed that the racism she experienced in her private school was the same racism experienced by a black kid who wants to go to school so he can at least eat one meal that day. No, all racism is not the same, but human dignity is. The colorblind Declaration of Independence reads, all men are created equal, that they have certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Why don't these apply equally to all of us? There's 60% whites in the United States and 13% are blacks. Why is it then that 3 blacks are dying due to coronavirus for every white death? What about black-owned businesses? 1 month into the lockdowns last year, and half of all black-owned businesses had shut down for good. You think blacks are lazy? Yeah. Muhammad Ali, he sure packed a punch to get an Olympic medal, but he wasn't good enough to get a restaurant meal in Kentucky. Muhammad Ali, Ali and Dr. King didn't always share the same opinion about things, and that's what humans do. We disagree, and we discuss. Correction, we should discuss. So why aren't we discussing? Be it racial injustice, lack of healthcare, lack of education, lack of opportunity, lack of the unalienable right to black life, black liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As I heard the voices proclaim that November 3rd, 2020 stood out as the day that America stood divided more than ever before, I was reminded of a telegram Dr. King sent to Muhammad Ali before a match in 1961. It simply said, "May God protect you and your opponent in the coming contest." So what was Dr. King saying? We may not agree with each other, we may not understand each other, but that doesn't make us enemies. We still stand as one nation under God. No, America did not stand divided on November 3rd, but we sure understood that we had a lot left to discuss. We can't go back and change our beginning, but we definitely can start now and change our future. May God bless the United States of America.
Wow, that was, I don't even have the words to say for that. Do you have any words?
That was straight beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, the way that she made the setting, it was beautiful. I remember seeing her last year too, and she was great last year as well.
All of these contestants were great. I think that the judges are gonna have a really, really tough time deciding these winners.
Oh, it's gonna be a really, really tough time. I'll tell you that right now. So, with that being said, let's take a 15-minute break while the judges score and rank our finalists to determine the winners.
Stay tuned. And welcome back to the 6th annual MLK Voice for Youth virtual finals. Before we give the news that everyone is anxiously waiting for, I would like to hear a few words from our Senator Tom Carper and our First Lady Tracy Quillen Carney.
I'm Tom Carper, Senator for State of Delaware, retired Navy captain, Vietnam veteran. You don't have to serve in the United States Senate or be governor. You don't have to be in the military in a uniform in order to serve our fellow man and woman. And Martin Luther King was all about service. And what are we doing for other people? He asked.
What's next? We do the question.
Martin Luther King was all about service. And what are we doing for other people? He asked the question, what do you have to do to be great? And the answer for him was a simple one, serve other people, help other people. It's also the really source of joy for my life, and I think for the lives of millions of people who do that. We have people who stepped up during this pandemic and are serving us in extraordinary ways. There are doctors and nurses. There are people that collect the trash here today in our neighborhood. There are people that prepare our food and take care of our grandparents in nursing homes across this country. It's a hard job. They have a hard job, but they do it. And they do it, and it provides, while it's not easy, it provides for them satisfaction and joy. And I would just urge you, as you go through your life, to look for ways to serve, to help other people make a difference in their lives. Because in doing that, you'll not only make them happy, but you'll provide great joy for yourselves. So good luck in memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Tracy Quillen Carney, and I'm privileged to have the great role, if odd title, of First Lady of the State of Delaware. It has also been my privilege to participate in the MLK Voice for Youth program for the past 4 years. To all the student participants, I miss you, but I still hear you. We all still hear you. Your voices of passion and purpose, your honesty and your honor, the promise of your future, and the poetry of who you are right now. In the words of Amanda Gorman, a young Black woman poet, the first ever National Youth Poet Laureate of the United States, quote, "There's a place where this poem dwells. It is here, it is now, in the yellow song of dawn's bell, where we write an American lyric we are just beginning to tell. Keep telling it, and thank you."
All right, I know that everyone really wants to hear these results, but I have one more thing for you. I think that now would be a good time to get to know our contestants a little bit better. So I'm gonna ask the contestants 4 questions. My first question will be, what is your full name? What school do you attend? What grade are you in? And what are your plans after graduation? We're going to ask these questions in the order that everyone performed, and we're going to begin with Dina. So again, these questions are, what is your full name? What high school do you attend? What grade are you in? And what are your plans after graduation?
Am I supposed to speak because he spotlighted me here? And I'm going third behind Jamel and Dina.
My name is Dina Johnson. I'm a senior at Milford High School, and after I graduate high school, I plan to go to college for either business or health administration.
My name is Jamel Omar Powell. I'm homeschooled and I'm in 8th grade, and I plan to attend Morehouse College right after high school if I get in.
Hi, my name is Adith Thiagarajan. I'm a 12th grader that attends the charter school of Wilmington, and I'm currently applying for colleges. I want to go into college as a political science major, and then hopefully get into a law school. My ultimate goal in life, I'd say, would be to serve in public service and help uplift the community around me.
Hi, my name is Neha Das. I'm a senior at the Charter School of Wilmington. And in the future, I hope to continue my studies in either economics or engineering.
Hi, my name is Desiree Deacom. I am a senior at Newark Charter Junior Senior High School. And after graduation, I plan to go to a four-year college to continue with business.
Hi, my name is Sanchez Raymond. I currently am a senior at Cape Henlopen High School, and after high school, I plan to move to Florida and study interior designing, and then later on study arts.
It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Good afternoon, I'm Rashima Mull, and I'm a junior at the Charter School of Wilmington. We have both an aging population and a youth that is going through and being impacted by the pivotal experiences around us right now. I seek a role and function in geriatrics while also staying engaged in conversations around public policy. Thank you for your support.
Please turn the phones off in here.
Well, those all sound like wonderful plans. I wish you all the best. And I also want everyone to remember, do not be afraid to use any name on this program as a resource. They will be very, 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 very helpful. I want to thank you guys again. I want to thank your coaches, the support team, the semifinalist judge, and the volunteers who make the MLK Voice for Youth possible every year. I'm going to pass it off to DeJour, who is going to introduce our judges again.
Yes, I am very, very grateful for that passing. Now I will introduce the judges so we can thank them once again. Reverend Dr. Marta Ilueka. Melissa Kenny. Reverend Dr. Lawrence M. Livingston. Maurice Pritchett. Nana Ohema Asante. Dr. Eugene Young. Alternate Judge, Dr. Wilma Mishu.
And also, Senator Elizabeth Tizzy Lockman. Now I want to introduce one of my favorite people and the founder of this contest, Jane Rubini.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, DeJour, for doing such a great job today. It wasn't easy, you may have noticed, but we pulled it off, and we were able to hear 7 amazing finalists share how Dr. King's legacy guides their response to today's challenges. I want to send out a huge thank you to everyone who has helped make today possible. The individuals, the organizations, the volunteers, the judges, the contestants, the teachers and parents, and members of the planning committee, and a handful of people who are here with me today, working very hard to keep this event moving forward. Thank you, thank you. To our finalists and semifinalists, and all MLK contestants, past and present, I'd like to speak to you directly. I want you to know your words have power. They can hurt and wound, but they can inspire and motivate, just as our finalists have done for us today. And when they speak and we hear it come from your heart, they carry that much more power. Your voice increases the power of your words exponentially. Like we've heard today, and like we've heard past contestants over the past 6 years so eloquently share with us their hopes and dreams for their future. I hope you will continue to speak up and use your voice, and that this experience, being part of this contest, empowers you to go forward and continue to speak up for things that are important to you, because your words and your voice matters. Dr. King, in August 1967, spoke at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. That speech has been considered perhaps his most radical. He spoke about guaranteed income. He spoke about war in Vietnam. And he spoke about power. He thought power, there is nothing wrong with power if used correctly. He talked how power and love have been contrasted as polar opposites, that love is the resignation of power. He went on to say, what is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing justice, the demands of justice, and justice at its best is using power to correcting everything that stands against love. And this is what we must see as we are to move forward. That was in '67. So again, I want to share with the contestants, thank them again for having the courage to speak up and remember, love is the greatest power of all. It can move mountains. Okay, so having had my say, I'd like to let you know all our finalists today will receive a $50 gift card. Thank you to Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer. Matt is here to say a few words via video. Matt?
Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer, good afternoon to everyone, saying thank you to Jane Rabini, everyone at Christ Church of Christiana 100, Becca Cotto, everyone at YWCA, and across the community who worked especially hard and creatively this year to make sure MLK Voice for Youth continued. It is important every year that the youth have a voice in our MLK Day, a leading voice to instruct us as community leaders, as government leaders, as business leaders, to give us new ways of looking at old problems. But it is particularly important this year with everything going on in our community, in our country, in our world. Heck, in a few days, we're going to have the next president of the United States right here living in Newcastle County. We wanted to say thank you for making this happen, and thank you to all the youth who've worked so hard, everyone, even if you made it to this day or did not make it to the final round. Thank you for all the hard work you've put in. Let's not forget the words of Martin Luther King, intelligence plus character, that is the goal of a true education.
I'm Margie Pruitt, a member of the Wilmington Rotary Club, and very pleased to be here today to present the third place award for the Martin Luther King Voices for Youth Award. Rotary is a global organization of over 1 million problem solvers that unite for lasting change. Across the globe, Rotary has been involved in eliminating polio and helping train effective catalysts for peace. Here in Wilmington, we give college scholarships, and over the next several years, we will be working on early childhood education. Each Martin Luther King's holiday, I post on social media some song lyrics that are really important to me and I think appropriate for today's celebration. Let us turn our thoughts today to Martin Luther King and recognize that there are ties between us, all men and women living on the earth, ties of hope and love, sister and brotherhood, that we are bound together in our desire to see the world become a place in which our children can grow strong and free. We are bound together by the task that stands before us and the road that lies ahead. We are bound, and we are bound. I so strongly believe that our world is in good hands when I hear the stories from the young people today in this program. Congratulations to all of you, and let us work for a world in which our children can grow strong and free. We are bound.
Thank you, Margie, and members of Rotary Club of Wilmington. Third prize.
Well, one moment, please. Thank you. Deja, I know you're going to announce our third prize winner. Thank you to the Rotary as well for their sponsoring again this year, third prize of $500. Thank you to Margie for those words. And Deja, do you want to turn the check around and we can show our contestants and announce who third prize
Third prize, $500,
goes
to Rashima Ma.
Congratulations, Rashima. Well done.
Thank you so much for
I'd
your
like to
support
bring
on this
Camilla
important
back
occasion.
to introduce second prize, but first, a word from second prize sponsor, Herb Broadwater. First, we're getting to Herb in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Herb Broadwater, Talent Acquisition Partner for WSFS Bank. As one of this year's sponsors, WSFS Bank would like to congratulate this year's second place winner for the MLK Voices for Youth contest. Well done. Congratulations.
I am now. I'll take the first prize check. Pardon? I'll say something too. Thank you, Herb. I want you also to know that Herb has been an instrumental member of our planning committee and has also worked very hard to help bring today's event. Camilla is back with me now to introduce and announce our second prize winner of $1,000. Thank you, WSFS Bank.
Second prize of $1,000 goes to Ada.
We're not quite sure how to pronounce Ada's last name, but congratulations.
My name is Thiagarajan. It's Thiagarajan. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ms. Rubini. It means a lot.
Before we present first prize, we would like to play a few words from our first prize sponsor. Dr. Jean Nutter will speak for the Quentin Primo Jr. Fund for Racial Justice on behalf of Cynthia Martin Primo, who could not be with us today. So here is Dr. Jean Nutter.
Hello, I'm Jean Nutter, board member of the Quentin E. Primo Fund for Racial Justice, which was established to provide support for charitable organizations promoting racial justice, as demonstrated by the Right Reverend Quentin E. Primo Jr., who in his life and ministry worked tirelessly to uproot racial, social, and cultural discrimination and injustice, and to promote reconciliation, and to inspire others to do the same. It gives me great pleasure to award the first prize of $2,000. Congratulations.
Hello, and thank you, Dr. Nutter. So on behalf of the Quentin E. Primo Fund for Racial Justice, I am thrilled to present the first prize of $2,000 to Neha Das from the Charter School of Wilmington. Well done, Neha. Well done. Congratulations to all of our winners, all of our contestants for having courage to speak up. I just want to also just tell you that you are amazing. I want to thank the judges again. I want to thank Camilla and Dajur for doing an excellent job as our hosts. I thank our audience for your patience. Hi, Neha. Good to see you. Congrats. And all the members of the planning committee and the people here whose collective efforts, and it was huge, helped to amplify your voices today. And that speech I referred to earlier with Dr. King speaking in '67, that speech was titled A New Sense of Direction. And he asked, almost the very first line, where do we go from here? So I ask you, where do you go from here? And what will you do tomorrow? Thank you for being with us. And as a little extra, we have a recording by Tim Hurt, a past MLK contestant, and he is accompanied by Jeff Notter, a local jazz pianist from Wilmington, Delaware, to just play a few songs. We would have liked to have aired it sooner, but we have it now, and I hope you enjoy it. And I thank Tim and Jeff for taking the time out to record these songs that are, I know Tim has a beautiful voice you will enjoy. Thank you again, everyone, for being with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
To be free, I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that tear us apart. Oh, I wish that you could see what it means to be me, and you would see and agree that every man should be free. Oh, I wish that I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish that I could live like I'm longing to live. Oh, I wish that I could do all the things that I should do. And though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Oh, I wish that I could be like a bird in the sky. Oh, how lovely it would be if I found out I could fly. And then I'd soar to the sun and look down to the sea. And then I'd sing, oh, I know, because I'd sing, because I know. Oh, I'd sing because I know. Oh, yeah, I'd sing because I know how it feels to be
Hi, my name is Timothy Hurt. I am from Wilmington, Delaware. I actually was a contestant in this program a few years back. I study music education at Rowan University, and what you just heard was a song by Nina Simone called I Wish I Knew How It Felt to Be Free. What that song was about to me is compassion. There's a phrase in there that says, I wish you know how it felt to be me, so that you would see and agree that every man should be free. That was pure compassion right there, and that was something that Dr. King fought for. And it's important that in these days we all have compassion for everyone. So next you'll hear Someday We'll All Be Free by Donny Hathaway, and this song is all about hope. A quote by Dr. King that really stuck out to me is, out of a mountain of despair, a stone of hope. If we don't keep the hope, and if we don't keep the faith, and if we don't fight for what we need in this world and in this country, what are we doing? So next will be Someday We'll All Be Free.
me someday, we'll all be free. Oh, take it from me someday, we'll all be free. Finally, I would like to end this performance with declaring and decreeing that a change is going to come. I was born by the river in a little tent, oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I'd go to the movies and I'd go downtown, but somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me, please, 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 please. But somehow he ends up knocking me back down on my knees. There's been times when I thought I would last too long, but now I've got the strength to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change